A stargate, encoded in the dome of our nation's capital, strange symbols hidden on our most famous monuments, and a mysterious flying disc appearing in a painting of George Washington. What is the meaning behind the secret messages found throughout our nation's capital? And could there be more to America's origins than we have ever been told? For Benjamin Franklin, a belief in extraterrestrial life was a natural extension of a scientific worldview. Thomas Jefferson remains the highest-ranking public official in American history ever to report a UFO sighting. One must wonder, were extraterrestrials monitoring our progress? Around the world, millions believe that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in the distant past. What if this is true? Did ancient aliens truly shape our history? And could otherworldly forces have influenced the founding of the United States of America? Washington, D.C., July 19, 1952. At the height of Cold War tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union, an air traffic controller at Washington National Airport picks up 7 strange objects on his radar screen. He quickly determines these are not Soviet aircraft. From the tower, large bright lights are observed moving rapidly, sometimes streaking away at incredible speeds, or simply vanishing. They do not just appear and disappear randomly. They are seen over the Capitol building, near the White House, and over the Washington Monument. Fighter jets scramble to intercept these strange objects, but as they approach, all 7 instantly disappear. Some Air Force officers later report that attempts to shoot down UFOs failed because these craft moved faster than any U.S. aircraft of the time. In response to the breach, Major General John Samford, Director of Intelligence for the United States Air Force, addresses the issue at a Pentagon press conference. Although thousands of reports had been analyzed, a small number, made by credible observers, remained unexplained. Why did these objects appear over Washington at such a critical moment in history? Some speculate that extraterrestrials often show up during political upheavals or turning points to make their presence known. Could these lights have been alien craft, monitoring a pivotal moment in human affairs? And if so, might they have been involved since the very founding of the nation, just before the Revolutionary War? Back then, many scientists gathered monthly under the full moon, calling themselves the Lunar Society. Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson were among those who met to discuss new scientific ideas, the possibility of life on other worlds, and how to build a new nation distinct from all others. July 4, 1776. In the midst of revolution, the American colonies formally sever their ties with England. The Founding Fathers risked their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to create not just a new nation, but a new world. Unlike the monarchies of Europe and Asia, the American government would be influenced by ancient Greek and Roman philosophies. Intellectual giants of the time read the Greek classics and drew upon ancient principles to create a bold experiment in governance, one that some might call guided by fortune or the favor of the gods. July 16, 1790. Plans are announced for a national capital along the banks of the Potomac to be named for George Washington. It would resemble the style of Greco-Roman architecture, but why this near obsession with the ancient world? In the 5th and 4th centuries BCE, thinkers like Democritus, Leucippus, Epicurus, and Lucretius debated the plurality of worlds and the existence of extraterrestrial life. The Founding Fathers knew these ancient philosophies, and during the 18th century Enlightenment, an era emphasizing reason, science, and skepticism of traditional authority, belief in multiple inhabited worlds was scientifically plausible. Many Enlightenment figures, scientists, philosophers, and theorists, discussed extraterrestrials. William Herschel, the prominent astronomer who discovered Uranus and several moons of Jupiter and Saturn, believed in intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. His groundbreaking observations with large telescopes lent credibility to the idea of other worlds inhabited by beings like ourselves. No one embraced this more fully than Benjamin Franklin. Often called the first American, Franklin was an inventor, statesman, scientist, and intellectual. He accepted extraterrestrial life as part of a rational scientific view of existence. Through his widely read Poor Richard's Almanac, Franklin presented the notion that other planets might be habitable and inhabited as a matter of fact. something few modern historians fully appreciate. In 1728, Franklin wrote that humans were not the most perfect beings, and that there likely existed many beings superior to us. He essentially took extraterrestrial life for granted. But the ancient philosophers were not the only influence. The Native Americans the founders encountered also believed life existed throughout the universe, sometimes seeing themselves as descendants of extraterrestrials. Franklin was deeply interested in Native American star legends. One of his best-selling pamphlets recounted the Iroquois creation story of Sky Woman, an extraterrestrial figure who descended to Earth and gave rise to humanity. Did the founding fathers truly believe in extraterrestrials? Was their openness to otherworldly life not just philosophical, but also based on direct encounters? Ancient astronaut theorists think so, pointing to a first-hand account from one of Washington's aides about a strange encounter during the harrowing winter at Valley Forge. Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, winter 1777. The American Revolutionary War is going poorly. Washington's army is desperate, starving, and ill-equipped. Surrounded by defeat and despair, Washington retreats into the forest to pray. There, he reportedly experiences a magnificent vision. A being clothed in white, an otherworldly presence, shows him the outcome of the war, and even the future growth and prosperity of the United States. This vision sustains Washington's resolve, turning a hopeless situation into a pivotal turning point. Was this otherworldly encounter real, or a morale-building story? Some allege that Washington may have unwittingly come into contact with extraterrestrials several times. According to certain diaries, Washington spoke of mysterious green skins and witnessed a glowing green orb hovering near the tree line. While he initially mistook them for painted Native American warriors, some believe these may have been extraterrestrials observing a critical juncture in human history. George Washington's experience is one of many stories of miraculous visions and apparitions during wartime. Some suggest that aliens appear at crucial moments, watching or even guiding human affairs. If Washington encountered green-skinned visitors and glowing orbs, might others have had similar experiences? In April 1800, astronomer William Dunbar reported to Vice President Thomas Jefferson a large, bright, glowing object in Louisiana's skies. Jefferson took the report seriously, passing it to the American Philosophical Society, a group founded by Benjamin Franklin and composed of America's greatest thinkers. Jefferson's report remains the highest-level UFO account by a public official in American history. Jefferson's and Franklin's belief in extraterrestrials was rooted in science and reason. Did these encounters convince them that alien influences were at work? If so, might evidence lie in the symbols and codes of the Freemasons, a secret society that included Washington, Franklin, Hancock, and Revere? Fredericksburg, Virginia, 1752. A 20-year-old George Washington is initiated into the Freemasons, who valued the pursuit of knowledge, scientific and spiritual. During the Enlightenment, such pursuits included speculation about extraterrestrial life. Freemasonry spread Enlightenment principles to the New World, and many founding fathers were members. 9 of the 56 Declaration signers were Masons, as were 13 of the 39 Constitution signers. Does Freemasonry's influence explain why Masonic ideals permeate America's founding documents and symbols? Consider the nation's monuments and architecture. Masonic symbols, the square and compass, the all-seeing eye, align with ancient wisdom traditions. The founders also drew on Egyptian imagery: sphinxes, obelisks, pyramids, and the all-seeing eye, as seen on the Great Seal and the dollar bill. Why would rational men of the Enlightenment place such ancient, mystical symbols at the heart of America's identity? Perhaps they believed a higher power, or even extraterrestrial beings, were guiding humanity's leap forward. One piece of evidence often cited by ancient astronaut theorists is an 1866 lithograph of Washington depicted as a Freemason. Behind him, Jacob's ladder, a biblical symbol, ascends not to heaven, but from a dark, round, luminous object. Could this represent a UFO? From Masonic emblems to Egyptian-style monuments, Washington, D.C. is filled with ancient symbols. The city's layout itself, influenced by Washington and Jefferson, both skilled surveyors, reflects perfect geometric shapes and alignments with the cardinal directions. The Washington Monument, an Egyptian obelisk built by Freemasons, aligns with the constellation Pleiades, a star cluster revered by the ancients. Did the founders design the capital city to draw cosmic energy, reflect ancient wisdom, or signal extraterrestrial beings? The city's centerpiece, the Capitol building, is aligned so that its dome, a symbol where heaven and earth meet, serves as a portal to the cosmos. Within the dome's rotunda, the fresco, The Apotheosis of Washington, shows the first president deified among the heavens, suggesting he was something more than a mere mortal leader. Another statue depicts Washington as a Jupiter-like figure, associated with the sun and stars, further hinting at cosmic significance. Could all these symbols, monuments, and alignments imply that the founding fathers believed extraterrestrial forces were guiding the American experiment? Perhaps they saw themselves as part of a grand cosmic plan, watched over by beings from beyond Earth. Today, the quest for knowledge about extraterrestrial life continues with powerful telescopes and scientific research. While we have advanced dramatically since Franklin's experiments and Jefferson's reports, the longing to know what's out there remains unchanged. Did Washington receive secret knowledge at Valley Forge? Did he share it with Jefferson and Franklin, who in turn passed it down through generations of American leaders? If extraterrestrials were present at America's birth, were they simply observers or active participants? If so, might they return as new turning points in human history emerge?